I see critiques. I see critiques on Facebook, and I see critiques about the movie, or the picture rather. And then the immediate knee-jerk reaction from the supporters of this movie is, how can you even say that? You can't see the film very well. Look, it's a picture somebody took. It's supposed to, I mean, it's dark color, it's dark lighting. You can't judge it like that. You can't judge it right now. And as I said just a moment ago, that is a completely absurd and stupid statement. That's just a shill talking. Yeah, I agree. This isn't the best image of the suit to reveal to the public for the first time. It's a really dumb move to take a picture of the film, or of the filming or whatever, and to release that, and then the dark lighting and all that stuff. It's ridiculous. They very well easily, even if they didn't want to release actual film footage, at least do like a production shot with the proper lighting and everything, so you can see a full angle of the suit. But they knew that what they were doing. This is the image that James Gunn chose to be the very first image the world sees of his Superman. It's 100% worthy of being judged and criticized, and all of our criticisms are 100% legitimate. Absolutely. This is the image they chose to show. And as I said before, there's a reason. There's a reason they did that. These are smart people. They're marketers. They know what they're doing. They want to be able to not show you the whole thing yet, so you really can't judge it all together, and they want to have plausible deniability to be able to say, oh, well, you think it's too dark? Well, I mean, the lighting's a little dark, so that's probably just what you're seeing. There's only a little peek of maybe the trunks, and people are saying, so that they could gauge a reaction. Do people happy in general that the trunks are back, or not happy in general? They've got a little room to play with, and they could, well, maybe it's just sort of a red part of the pants or something. They know what they're doing. So this image, it was carefully chosen to be the one that's shown, and it's 100% worthy of us critiquing it and judging it. So let's just eliminate that stupid response right now. You can't judge it yet. It's not shut up. These are the people that say you can't judge a movie until you've gone to buy your ticket and given them all their support and seen it and everything, and then you can say what you think after no one gives a crap because you've already shown Hollywood you support it. Anyway, so I say that's it's 100% worthy of being judged and critiqued and given thoughts about. Now, the next thing I was saying, I don't know how much of this came through, so let me just reiterate it. Bear with me here. When it comes to me and my approach, or my thoughts about James Gunn, I'm not a James Gunn hater. I liked some of his films. I liked the first two Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked his movie Super. I think when he's given the proper subject matter, he's great. He's a great storyteller, and he can tell very good stories. He can be a great director for these kinds of films when the subject matter is appropriate for his style of storytelling. He's very much an auteur filmmaker, by which I mean he's a type of filmmaker, type of storyteller that very much brings his own stamp, his own angle on themes, And in fact, he said as much when he talked about why he ended up going ahead and doing Superman. He didn't want to do it at first when he was offered it, but he wanted to find his little angle and his in. And his in that he found for the Superman script, he said, was the conflict. How does Superman reconcile his upbringing, on Earth by the Kents and his Kryptonian aristocratic heritage? That's an absurd angle to be in because there's no problem reconciling those whatsoever. Superman is Clark Kent, and as far as he's concerned, he's Clark Kent of Earth. Yes, he's got, and he comes to really appreciate and respect, what his parents did for him and whatnot, but he's not Kryptonian. He doesn't, he's not dealing with the struggles of reconciling these two or whatever. No, he's Clark Kent. If you ask him who he is, he's Clark Kent. The world thinks of him as Superman, but he's Clark Kent. Ma and Pa Kent's boy. That's who he is. Homegrown American. That's who Superman is. There's no reconciling or having to, come to terms with any of this nonsense. So, that's just part of the really ridiculous, stupid things James Gunn has said about his approach to Superman. He called him a big old galoot. He said that his weakness is that he won't kill people. James Gunn, as I've said before in a video, he has an approach that he takes to his films. He has a main character who truly does, at the end, underneath it all, the character has a good heart. And the character is sort of the hero of the movie. And you see this with Rainn Wilson's character in Super. You see this with Star-Lord. You've seen it with Nathan Fillion's character, I think, even in the horror film that he did. But this kind of main character, this hero, is a big doofus. He's an oaf. He's clownish. and the movie itself kind of pokes fun at him as he's likable. He's 100% likable. You want him to win in the end, and he does even win in the end. But he's an oaf. He's somebody that even the movie itself kind of snickers at a little bit. You know, that's the kind of approach. That's all we've ever seen from James Gunn as a writer director. That's all we've ever seen from him. And everything he's saying about his approach to Superman seems to be perfectly in line with that approach, which is 100% the wrong take on Superman. You know, he wants to have all these other superheroes in the movie, so it's important that you can see how Superman's perceived by others. The only way Superman should be perceived by other superheroes is with 100% respect. I mean, we admire this man, even if they don't agree with him all the way or all of his methods or values. Superman inspires the crap out of the DC universe. That's just how it needs to be, period. End of it. End of story. Even in the for all the problems or the problems of this story in general, the Identity Crisis by Robert Meltzer, there was one amazing moment in that I really thought encapsulated so much. When Green Arrow, they're trying to solve this murder, and Superman picks up this knot, and he says, oh, it's a such and such type of knot. You know, every Boy Scout knows that. Meaning that, you know, he learned about that knot in Boy Scouts. And Green Arrow looks at him and says, I love him and hate him in the same moment. You know, and that's even characters like a Green Arrow who doesn't necessarily align with Superman's methods or all of his, you know, philosophies or whatever. It can't help but to respect and admire Superman. No one's going to snicker at Superman. That is the 100% wrong take to take on Superman. Okay. And by everything James Gunn has said, this is the approach he's taking. Now, as I said a moment ago too, I really truly do hope that I'm wrong about this. I hope the movie comes out. I hope it's amazing. I don't need the movie to fail in order to be vindicated on the things that I've said, because everything I've said is 100% vindicated already. I've backed it up with evidence. Even if the movie's an amazing, iconic Superman film, it doesn't change the fact that James Gunn said some really stupid things that would lead any logical person to think that he doesn't truly understand the character. Okay, so that's just done. Is it possible that it could come out and still be pretty darn good? Anything's possible, right? I mean, in a universe of infinite possibilities, anything's possible. But all signs point to no. The suit gives us further information that I'll get into in a moment. So I'm not just a James Gunn hater, and I'm not just a James Gunn fanatic too. Oh, it's going to be great. How can you even say that? You haven't seen it yet. Yay! You know, how do people go through life like that? I mean, you know, do you flex those critical thinking skills at all ever? You know, anyway. So that's my general approach. I didn't like him for the choice, not only just to do a Superman movie, but to helm the entire DC new cinematic universe. Like, no, what? James Gunn? This is par for the course for Warner Brothers. What? You did a good Batman movie, you should do Superman. What? You did a good X-Men movie? Oh, then it follows you could do a good Superman movie. Oh, did you do Watchmen? Did you do Alan Moore's ultimate deconstruction and nihilistic story? You should do Superman. I mean, this is par for the course. Warner Brothers doesn't know a thing about these characters. They don't know what they're doing. They just hire people because they did something popular once. That's how they go. And sometimes it works out well. I mean, you know, think about Richard Donner. I mean, hey, you did The Omen, you should do Superman. That's not exactly a logical flip, and sometimes they get lucky with it and it's amazing. But more often than not, it's a really stupid decision. So all signs indicate, and all points, you know, towards the fact that this is probably not the right approach on Superman whatsoever. Okay, so now let me go ahead and bring up the image, and we can talk about it a little bit here. Okay, so I've got the image here on the left. This is that's the Superman suit reveal. And on the right, I have the costumes from the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 film. This is, it's the same suit designer, which you can tell. It's the same suit designer from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think she also did some Captain America uniforms at some point. So we'll get to that. We'll talk about what that means here. My overall impression of the James Gunn Superman suit, I think it's ugly personally. That's just my personal aesthetic taste. I'm not saying objective right now. I'm just saying I think that kind of thing is ugly. It looks like a 90s / early 2000s person going to play basketball, but it's a little chilly outside, so they got their athletic gear on, but it's a little padded and layered, to keep them warm. Um, I hate this look for Superman, and we'll talk about that in a second. Um, Good things about it: red, blue, and yellow are present. If it truly is the trunks there, then that's a good thing. Okay, even if we hate everything about the suit, but the trunks truly do end up being there and present, then I think James Gunn, even if everything's crap about it, we at least have to concede him some points for bringing back the trunks, because that's a ballsy move in today's era. They should be there. All the true fans know that the trunks should be there, but you got so many people, so many Snyder Bros pitching a fit and all this kind of stuff. So if the trunks truly are there, I will gladly give him points for that. The other general aspects of it are there. I hate this S shield. That is the only way that would resemble an S is if you know that it's Superman. And that kind of S has been done before here at times, but I've never liked it. I think that's a bad move. I think the toned down colors, and yes, those are toned down colors. Don't tell me, oh, but it's just the lighting. That's a dark blue. That's a dark red. They could look a little brighter in a sunlit day, but these are darker overall. And if that was the only issue with it, if the only issue was that the colors were a little dark, whatever. That's not a big, it's not the deal breaker, but it's just part and parcel of the things that are wrong with this. The fact that it looks so much like a Guardians of the Galaxy suit, or a suit maybe that Captain America would wear, as the other costume designers' content. Superman's suit, this suit here that Superman is wearing, is a suit that's meant to help the wearer, to protect the wearer, or if a different character had that kind of suit, there might be some little mechanical things on it or whatever to help them. This kind of suit is for protection. It's got like shin guards. It's got ribbing and weaving or whatever. Superman does not need a suit with protection. This is not the suit that Ma Kent sews together from the blankets that baby Kal-El comes to Earth in. This is not that suit at all. If they say anything about the origin of the suit, they're probably going to go the route like, oh, this is the Kryptonian, soldier gear or whatever. Snyder went that way a little bit, but had it as like the undergarments of the Kryptonian outfit or uniform. So basically, Superman literally was just running around in his underwear, and it looked like a big stupid onesie. It was just gross. So this suit, an overall impression tells me that James Gunn is trying so hard to please everyone. And as we all know, when you try to please everyone, you'll please no one. You will end up pleasing no one, other than the people who were already totally 100% sold and were going to go see this movie anyway because it's going to be great and James Gunn's great. How dare you haters? Those kind of idiots. This is not the right approach on a suit for Superman. He doesn't need protection. He doesn't need shin guards. He's Superman, for crying out loud. So that needed to be way dialed down. When you look at the inspiration for the suit, you can see some people are saying, "Oh, it's so Reeve-like. It's so Christopher Reeve-like." What even remotely is Christopher Reeve-like? The fact that the trunks are there, if they truly are there, then that's good. That's about it. Yeah, but the spit curl. Look at the spit curl. It's way over on the side of the head, and the rest of the hair is kind of sort of very Henry Cavill-like. This looks like he's trying to please everybody. You've got a New 52 inspired collar. You've got the weaving of the suit, which is exactly like, very reminiscent of the Zack Snyder, suit. You do have the trunks and maybe the spit curl if it's there all the time. Who knows? This is him trying to please everyone. There was a tweet one time, exchange that he had with a fan, and the fan had tweeted him and added him on X now, I guess, and he had said, look, it's not that, please bring back the trunks. It's simple. Bring back the trunks. And James Gunn replied, basically, it said, it's way more complicated than that. It's way more complicated. No, it's not. No, it's not. Only to an outsider to Superman fandom would it seem like it's complicated. An outsider would come to the Superman fandom and say, oh, wow, fans are really divided. There's a lot of Superman fans that think this, or he should be that way, or he should look that way. And then are fans look at the history of Superman. For the better part of a freaking century, he has looked pretty much the same. Some minor cosmetic tweaks here and there, but pretty much the same costume, the same personality once he's cemented into the public consciousness. And you look at the history of Superman, it wasn't till the big idiot Dan DiDio mandated a change with the New 52. That is the mandated change that changed his costume. We got to update it. We got to update it, upgrade it. Make it more relevant for today's audience. Darker. They changed his personality. They did all of this. Then Snyder, went off his own demented freakazoid phase and made his horrible films that took the cue from that. So you have people that like, ooh, a dark, twisted, psychologically sad Superman. Yay, that's what we want. Well, fine. You don't want Superman, though. You want this new, dark, ridiculous, twisted character. That's who you want. And then Outsider comes into the Superman fandom and goes, oh, so the fans are divided. No, the Superman fans are very central. We still know who he was, who he's always been. It's these other people that like flies to garbage who come around to these deconstructions and go, oh, I think that's kind of interesting. That's Superman to me. Okay, well, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're flat out wrong. That's not a divided fandom in any way. And that's what James Gunn clearly sees, and that's what he's trying to please everybody with this image. So I think that it's the wrong approach for a costume that Superman would need to wear. I think it shows signs of trying to cobble together so many parts of so many things to try to hopefully please everybody. That being said, does this suit alone completely kill any possibility of it being a good movie? No. As I've already said, I don't have any faith in this being a good superhero movie, a good Superman movie. James Gunn hasn't said anything. He hasn't shown me. He hasn't said anything that would reflect the fact that he knows who the character is and is capable of telling a great story about Superman. He hasn't shown me that. This suit certainly doesn't go in any way to make me think that. Even the presence of the trunks, which are great, in combination with everything else, just tells me he's trying to please everybody. Again, though, the suit reveal alone doesn't mean that it's not possible that somehow, some way, the movie might be, it might pull it off in the end or whatever. I don't think it's going to. I used to think that maybe there was a possibility. After seeing the suit, though, I think the best you could possibly hope for, if all the stars aligned and the alternate universe quantum phased in or whatever, the best you can hope for is an okay movie. It's an okay movie. I think that's the best we can hope for from this. And I don't think that's likely, as I said. A lot of problems with this. Bebop Bandicoot brings out a good point here. Says the trunk's always a must. And yes, not digging the Kingdom Come style S symbol. Enough of that. Leave it alone for Kingdom Come movie. That's where it belongs. 100% agree with you. And you mentioned Kingdom Come. This is another stupid thing about this image being the first image we see of Superman. It's telling. Okay, you're going to give us the first visual glimpse of your take on Superman, and the first image you show us is him just tired. He looks like a guy who's had a hard day of work. I don't know if he's putting on his boot, probably taking them off since his suit's kind of dirty. Outside looks like pandemonium going on, and let's take these boots off. What a hard day. That's a stupid approach to Superman. It worked in Alex Ross's Kingdom Come because you're dealing with a Superman who's much older. He's been through very specific things in the universe with the Magog thing and stuff like that. But that kind of approach, just out of context, that's what Snyder did. When the image reveals of Man of Steel and you had Cavill with the sad, looking down, just like Christopher Nolan's Batman, just like Wolverine, just like, this is every approach to every superhero ever. It's ridiculous. And so this is a really dumb moment in the character's life to be showing us is the first reveal. It's not that an inspirational Superman can't have a moment like this, sure, but for this to be the first image you show us, the first pose, the first moment in his life, that's a problem. Everything about this suit, how would trunks make sense for this suit? I'm not saying they're not there. I hope they are there. Like I said, it looks like, some red in there. But you think about the suit is trying to be so utilitarian with the ribbing and the padding, and the big collar, for the cape to hang off of and all this kind of stuff. How would trunks even fit that type of suit? Trunks should be there. I'm not saying they shouldn't be there. They should be there, but trunks should be there for a reason. They're to offer, For circus strongmen or whatever, Superman wouldn't need this necessarily, but they offer support to the core. They speak. I've done a whole video about the iconic nature of Superman's suit, why the colors need to be the way they are, why the balance needs to be there, what that type of suit says about that character. Uh, it provides the center of gravity in the core, there where the trunks are. It makes more of a strong man. He's centered. He's ready to pounce. That kind of thing. The high collar takes away from that center of balance a little bit. Again, that was the only thing. It's not a deal breaker in and of itself, but it's a bad move, really bad move. Because again, like I said, this suit should be, and it should look like a plausible suit that Ma Kent sewed together from the blankets that Kal-El came to Earth in. I don't want any of this nonsense. Oh, it's a uniform that was found in the spaceship or whatever. No, the suit should speak more to his heritage as being raised on Earth than it should to his Kryptonian heritage. That's very important because Superman doesn't see himself as an emissary from Krypton. Superman sees himself as Clark Kent from Earth, from Middle America, Kansas. Here he is, ready to bring truth, justice, and the American way to everyone. That's who Superman sees himself as, not as the last surviving member of a race of amazingly technologically, no. I mean, he finds that stuff out, and he integrates what he needs of that stuff and what's useful. And like I said, he honors his heritage, sure, but no, he that's not how he sees himself. He's way more man than he is super, and that's that's a really good story. That's what made that first Donner film so fantastic, and that's part of what was good about Superman Returns. I mean, Superman Returns had a lot bad about it, but that's part of what was good about Superman Returns. And some people were turning it into a criticism, like he didn't even throw a punch in the movie. Yeah, because he's Superman. That's who he is. He's got these powers. But a Superman film shouldn't be the exposition of these powers. I mean, oh my gosh, how many irrelevant, ineffective super punches did they have to throw in Man of Steel? I mean, it wasn't enough. I think that's darker works for the padding more, and I think it's also just they want that darker look. They resist that idea. I mean, you see Superman in this day and age in red trunks, in bright light blue, bright red, and some people are like, yeah, but that looks so out of place today. Good, it should. Superman is for America and apple pie, baseball, truth, justice, and the American way, and far too many people think that's out of place today. So that character should look every bit the philosophy and virtues that he brings. And it takes a special actor. I don't know any of David Fornset's acting, so I can't speak to his ability at all. I hope he brings it. I hope he can do it. But it takes a very special, unique kind of actor to be able to bring that to the role and still be taken seriously. Christopher Reeve had that in spades. I mean, I think George Reeves had it as well, but it was a different world in the 50s than, say, late 70s and even today. I think Brandon Routh had that, but the direction of the film made him take too much of a melancholy route. But he 100% can portray that, as he did, as he showed us in the Crisis on Infinite Earths or whatever crossover. Even though I wasn't crazy about the story they went with, his portrayal of Superman that was glorious, glorious. Cavill can't do that. Cavill's never been able to do that. He can't do that. And I don't know what David can do. We'll see. Oh, yeah, my goodness. Bradley Renfro, you are 100% right. I remember criticizing the Snyder movies and the Nolan Batman, and people acted like I murdered their dog. Get ready for it to happen again. When the James Gunn Superman movie comes out, Superman, whatever it's called, Legacy, there's a contingent of people that just need to celebrate the newest thing. And they will do everything they can to shame you or mock you or strawman your critiques because they need you to shut up so they can just enjoy the new thing. There are people doing that right now about Robert Pattinson's Batman. There are people just insisting that this is the Batman from the comics and blah, 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 blah. Again, that was just like a very Nolan-style take on Batman. It was different because it was Reeves' unique take on it. There were some things different, maybe even some things interesting, but it wasn't the iconic aspirational character of Batman by any means. Not anything like we got from the animated series that he was kind of, hinting that he was going to try and bring to it. Yeah, no. I agree, Final Fantasy fan. Is it too much to ask for a hero to be moral and do what is right because he knows it's the right thing to do? That's if that's not the take a Superman in this movie, then it's a 100% crap film because Superman is aspirational. Yeah, he needs to just do the right thing because it's the right thing, and he believes in the right thing. It's part of his upbringing by Mom and Pa Kent, 100%. It's an interesting comment. Coffee says the suit doesn't matter. What matters is him being the iconic Superman. Someone who gets that wouldn't put him in this suit. That's a really well articulated comment, right? And I appreciate that you said that because a lot of people are going to say, it's just a suit. Who cares? What matters is it's a true Superman, and you don't know that yet. So you got to go see it and just, be okay with it. Yes, it's true, as you said, that no, Superman matters more than the suit. If the suit's kind of but the character's still there, great. But as you say, and it's an important and it's a reasonable thing to say, and it's a perfectly logical thing to say. We're adding up the evidence and making logical conclusions here that a person who truly understands the real Superman wouldn't put him in this suit. Does it definitely mean, this or that? Not necessarily, but all signs point to, nope. This just doesn't look right. I don't think he gets it.